bonjour, and welcome to the Amateur Detective Club. This club is exactly how it sounds. A bunch of amateurs talking about their favorite mysteries. So if you encounter a real mystery or a murder, contact the proper authorities. Do not come to us. We do not know what we are doing. But enjoy the program. Allons-y. Let us begin.
I now call this meeting of the Amateur Detective Club to order. My name, Tristan Miller. I say it's Tristan Miller, the Sausage Sleuth.
How appropriate. My name is Melissa Meli. I am the spy.
And I'm Tyler Riley, representing the great state of New Jersey.
It's Jersey Day.
Yeah. Let's get it.
It's 8 p.m. here at Queens, New York, and we're coming at you. And today's show is brought to you by Audible. You can go to audibletrial.com/ADCpod and browse the unmatched selections of audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's that easy. Just go to audibletrial.com/ADCpod. We're offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Again, that is, what's the URL, you two?
audibletrial.com/ADCpod.
audibletrial.com/ADCpod.
I was hoping for in unison, but we'll take it. So, it's New Jersey Day. What does that mean?
It means bow down, bitches, and recognize the preeminent state in this union. We gave you Meryl Streep. We gave you Queen Latifah. We gave you Tony Bennett. We gave you Frank Sinatra. We gave you Bebe Neuwirth, Tisha Campbell, and
Strong
so
argument.
many more.
Yeah. Is there a good book from New Jersey we could recommend to Audible listeners?
Tough Shit by Kevin Smith, a Jersey boy. He talks about making movies and how you can do it too. And if there's anyone who proves that anyone can make a movie, it's Kevin Smith.
So we're
right.
just...
What? Do we not like Kevin Smith?
No, that's...
Oh.
No, we're cursing. Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, whenever it's appropriate. I'm going to bleep it out. Like, we
Okay.
have a bleep option.
We do have a bleep option. I just don't know what the rules are anymore
Well, yeah,
Tim
because...
Curry needs these royalties.
for his voice work on our podcast.
I've just got this chick here.
Can you imagine? Can we please send Tim Curry 10 cents every time we use your bleep thing? It
Sure.
would be so weird and funny.
It would be, and I think he would be disturbed by it. The man has gone through enough.
That's fair.
Yes.
But yeah.
But do we know who is providing the voice of Nigel in the new Nickelodeon All-Stars game available on the Nintendo Switch and the like, released later this year?
I don't know off the top of my head. He might be reprising his role. His health has been better, not good, but better.
That's...
Yeah.
Yeah, any improvement's an improvement.
Yeah, he has done some public speaking since his for those of you who aren't in the know, he had a stroke a few years back, and he's bound to a wheelchair, but he can still, like, talk and cognate.
The last time that I heard any of his voice work, it was Auntie Whispers in Cartoon Network's Over the Garden Wall. And I just wasn't sure if that was like a character choice or just how he sounds now.
That's fair. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
That it might be worth looking into. I think if they can't get him, Mark Hamill would be really good at it.
I wonder if Over the Garden Wall counts as a mystery. It's a series, and I think you would have to get to the, like, we would have to, like...
You'd have to watch it all.
Yeah.
But there is a mystery element to it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're...
Oh.
Yeah, but it's also a very short series. You
Yeah.
could bang it out in a day, and I have almost every October.
Oh, okay.
It's a good Halloween time show.
And I said it right this time. The name of it. I usually say it wrong. I'm like, over there in the garden. Out there in the forest. You know that.
Something else.
Great scene.
Yes. I love a good October watch. there's just not enough time in October to watch all the things I want to watch in October. So I have to extend it into September and November as well.
What are some of the things that you watch?
The Worst Witch starring Tim Curry. As we have discussed many times. Hocus Pocus.
A movie I've not seen.
You're going to.
Yeah.
There is, of course, The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. There's Nightmare Before Christmas. Also works for Christmas.
Okay, I was going to say, like...
Yeah.
Do you watch for both, or...
I feel like it's more of a Halloween movie than a Christmas movie.
Okay.
I watch it on Easter.
Oh.
Well,
I mean, there's that, like, the Easter Bunny does make an appearance.
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
actually, I think that it's a really nice transition movie. Like, if you're going to go from spooky season to Christmas season. Yeah, it's a good one to watch, like, the day after.
There's been a murder on this episode of
gosh.
The Office.
We were talking about The Office today.
The episode entitled Murder, which is season 6.
Episode 10.
The cold open is an iconic cold open, which is where Dwight is demonstrating how to perform karate to the whole office, and Jim tricks him into fighting himself, which concludes with him punching himself in the balls.
Black people believe that this is iconic. I had never once heard of that segment.
Oh, really? Okay, so I think we have to make it. I'm on comedy Twitter. This shows up all the time. So as someone who is too online, TM, chronically on the web, it's a very famous cold open vis-a-vis The Office. Anyway.
Yeah, it's real fun.
Also, when I was getting taught commedia in high school, they often cited The Office as an excellent example of it. And this is a beautiful, like, El Dottore, Arlecchino. Like, this is a Lazzi. This is, like, so broad.
They are playing commedia characters. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That does make a lot of sense.
You can find a lot of one-to-one. It is really fun. And there aren't a lot of shows like that right now that are painting with such a broad stroke. And I miss it, to be honest. I miss it. I miss watching someone punch themselves in the balls.
You got to get on Netflix, my man.
I guess. Maybe I do. Yeah.
Yes. And so we learn that something is going terribly wrong at the paper company in
Dunder
general.
Mifflin.
And they are...
Dunder Mifflin.
Yeah.
It has a name.
I know.
Show some respect.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay. We're about to get into why they don't need respect.
And they don't know if they're going to make it or not, or if they're all going to have jobs or not.
Okay, now we're going to get into the moment that made me laugh.
Great.
Yes. Please do. I hope it's the same that made me laugh.
I found great pleasure and humor in the moment where Oscar, right,
Yeah.
pulls up a news article online, but it's in the Wall Street Journal. So in order to read the full thing, you have to pay $1.99.
Yeah.
To which Michael was like, "Oh man, well I wish I knew what the rest of the article said."
Yeah. And then the Jim comes in and Ed Helms' character is like, "Oh man, I was just gonna, you snuck in right." I cannot stand that character, Andy.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But the thing that made me laugh is because they said, "Oh, in the journal," and Michael turns to Erin, the secretary, and goes, "Do we have a journal in the office?" She goes, "Your dream journal, but you told me to put that in the safe."
Time capsule.
A time capsule, thank you. And someone goes, "No, the Wall Street Journal." And Michael says, "Oh, you mean the wall?" So stupid.
Yeah.
The dumbest thing. It's just doo-doo. Anyway, so yeah, they might be going under, they might not be going under. Everyone's stressed out.
Yes. So this is the time where Michael and Jim are co-managers.
That is correct.
Also, Jim and Pam have already gotten together. Because I had to search the recesses of my brain.
Are they expecting yet or no?
I don't
No.
think so.
No,
No,
okay.
no.
And
I think they're married though.
Yes, they
Angela and Dwight are not together at this point.
they're no longer together.
No. But Andy says he has a crush on Erin, the new secretary, because Pam is in a different role at this point. She's moved up.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Is she like an office manager?
maybe, or
I think
is she's a salesperson?
I believe she's a
salesperson.
salesperson because Michael Scott Paper Company happens, and he takes her
That's
and
right.
someone, another coworker, I can't remember who right now, and they go form their own company, and then they come back, and because they were she was the top salesperson.
Isn't it like Meredith or something?
It's something weird.
Yeah.
It's We'll get to Creed in a moment.
Oh
but
my gosh.
The Michael B. Jordan spinoff of Rocky?
yes, I'm going to talk about a completely different movie.
You just said Creed. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Oh,
He's a character on The Office. He's a
Who
character.
is he?
He's the guy. Okay, so when he goes, "There's been a murder," and you're one of the suspects, he's the guy that runs out and drives away.
Oh, me. Okay.
Oh yeah. He is the best character on The Office.
I think I texted y'all and I was
funny.
like, this is my response.
Yeah.
So Michael is listening to Rockabye.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So funny. And he ignoring problems. And Jim comes in and
Which I'm assuming is like a recurring bit in the series. Him avoiding issue. No.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
He's
avoiding problems. 100%.
not in this specific way, but in general.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So Jim is like, no, we have to do something. And he's like, no, I have to listen to the music again. And Jim's like, listen, we got to figure something out. And so Michael's like, all right, we're going to do a murder mystery game.
Yeah, because there's something. The only thing on the agenda is a staff meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And also he's called David Wallace,
Yeah.
who is their boss, about it, and he won't return the call. Yeah. What? Yes, Tyler?
I forgot that was name. The boss name was like David Foster.
Yeah. They absolutely, they must have, right? But yeah, so they do a meeting, and then Michael decides to play a murder mystery game.
Yeah. Jim before it says like, I only slack off when things are good.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of on top of, he wants to be on top of it. He wants everyone to
He wants
be
to
all right.
keep his job.
He wants to keep his job, and he also doesn't want everyone else to panic.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
So Michael he's decided to bring out this board game that's a murder mystery board game everyone plays a part. It's set in Savannah, Georgia, a place you've been to, Melissa.
I have.
I have
You've been to it as well?
many a time.
Were you there in the snow at a bar? Because that's... Yes?
Yeah.
And there was a moida.
I believe you mean a murder.
A murder. So
No, it
yeah,
needs to feel like molasses. Feel like-
as they say in the episode. Yeah. Jim is trying to do the meeting, and he comes in and he like fake answers the phone, and he says, "Oh my God, there's been a murder."
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh no, what's happened?"
Some really good acting from Steve Carell here. Specifically in that moment. Very good fun acting from my man Steve.
I
I would say fun.
I think this entire show is somewhat reprehensible. I mean, because there are people in it that are bad,
Sure.
like not the show. The premise can be hard to get on board with a lot of, maybe I'm saying the wrong thing. You look puzzled.
I'm looking confused because I want you to finish your sentence.
I don't know where I'm going with this. I was hoping you would somehow glom on to something I was saying. Like, yeah, I know what you mean. Like,
Yeah. What? Okay.
Start again. Let me see if I can help you.
Okay.
May I offer this?
Sure.
Michael Scott is not a good person, and he's the central figure of the show. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
But he is meant to be, and he's not meant to be viewed as good and kind.
Right.
And we're meant to laugh at him, not with him.
Okay, so we're not supposed to be sympathetic. Like, nobody's supposed to be sympathetic towards him.
You eventually become sympathetic over the course of like 6 seasons, but specifically that first season, he is an abomination of man.
Well, this is the only season like where I've seen episodes from.
Interesting.
And because like 2 episodes later is Scott's Tots, which I told you before is like my introductory episode.
Oh no.
And I hated that because they make the way it's written, we're supposed to feel bad for him at the end.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a horrible show.
Yeah, I
like
totally
we stopped
see that.
caring about these people. Like, oh, but he wanted to help them, so let's feel bad for him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, I get that, and I get the difficulty in that, and like sometimes I hate Michael, and sometimes I feel bad for him. I think that
I think I found my in.
Okay, great.
Because the TV show Girlfriends, I feel like Michael Scott is the Joan Carroll Clayton of this universe.
I sadly do not have a
I didn't
solid
think y'all
enough.
did.
I think I've seen a couple episodes, but I just don't remember.
Yeah.
Same to her.
Yeah, that was more for me.
That's fine.
And the black people listening to this episode.
Fair.
Hi, Tyler's mom.
Hey, we're 30 in Sweden.
Sweden.
Yeah. But
We love you.
Yeah, he is a complicated character, and it is like I actually literally did make a little video essay about it. Like and you can prescribe mental disorders to anybody who's in a sitcom because they all behave outlandishly.
Right.
But his is so clearly like his entire personality is like a trauma response to having a terrible childhood. So you have sympathy for him conceptually of like, yes, that sounds terrible, Michael, but also you can't call people those words anymore and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that's dated as well, but
Yeah.
the point.
Yeah, I don't fault like the show for that because like there are so many things like, and it's hard to kind of keep up.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
But in general, I would say Michael is meant to be someone who is so unself-aware.
Right.
That he says and does things that are not good.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
That rings true.
Steve was talking about it of like if Michael ever saw what he was like, his head would explode. Like he would probably commit suicide. Like because in his mind he's in a different world.
So
Michael's like a playboy. I really had a hard time keeping up with the names.
Yeah, he's a playboy.
yes,
Yeah,
Michael is a
Clayton. Is it something?
Is either Clayton is the first or last name.
I think
but
it's
Clayton is attached
Clayton.
to it.
Yeah, and they're all doing terrible.
Angela is very uncomfortable.
Yeah, because she's Mama Juju Boo Boo,
Yeah.
the witch doctor.
To her credit and the credit of the episode, she is obviously super uncomfortable playing this character and therefore does not go for it in a way that I appreciate it.
Yeah, there's also a beautiful moment where Stanley and she get up to leave the minute Michael goes, "We're going to play this game," and he goes, "There's food." And Stanley goes, "What kind?" Is
Sandwich platter.
Sandwich platter. He sits down. She keeps walking, and then Michael says baby carrots, and then Angela sits down. Ugh.
Baby carrots are good.
Baby carrots are good.
Jim asks Michael, "What designing woman are you basing that on?" On his accent.
Oh, I didn't pick that up until you said it.
What?
Yeah.
What does he say?
"What designing woman are you basing your accent on?" He said, "Delta Burke, I do declare." Which is fun.
Very solid.
So they get to the mystery, and someone's been murdered.
There's been a murder.
And I have no idea who's been murdered.
Well, they don't say because
Right.
it's like there's been a murder. Everyone's a suspect. It's
Bill Bourbon.
Bill Bourbon.
There we go.
Bill Bourbon, and then Dwight is the butler as well.
Yeah, because we find that out because Phyllis's character who is somebody, over here is the butler and Pam's character in like the parlor talking about something.
So, Ed Helms, Andy is trying to give advice about how to do the accents, and
my soul left my body.
And then Kevin
you
says,
ejaculated as well.
"Oh God."
Like molasses.
Kevin says, "Now do this. Now do the Swedish chef."
Oh, right.
That made me laugh too.
Yeah.
Okay, I laughed twice.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I don't know what regions he's from. The Sesame
You
Street,
straight
you
dumb.
Very
So
good.
funny. That
And
was
then
very good.
there's another accent bit as well. In
Because
this
Oscar goes for it and like can't.
I want to talk about that in a minute, but
okay.
also Kevin just goes, "Yo." It's so good. But yeah, okay. So I had to pause the episode when Oscar comes in and does the accent because he. I'm so sorry to laugh. Just remembering. So because he can't keep doing it, and the idea, and it's up here, and he can't, it's the funniest thing. I laughed so hard, I started coughing. I thought I was gonna throw up. I had an asthma attack because of that joke, which is.
Oh no.
Wow.
I don't, not actually. I don't have asthma, but like
Oh.
it felt like I couldn't catch my breath. Like it was a phenomenal. Because Oscar has a very like normal timbred voice. He sounds pretty right. But then when he was doing the accent, he was going like up top for no reason. Oh, delightful.
Yeah, and then this is the point where Creed comes in, and
The
he's
best
like-
character in the whole show.
he's like, "What? So what are we doing?" And Michael says, "There's been a murder, and we're trying to figure out who did it."
And you are one of the suspects.
Yeah, and Creed goes, "All right,"
Let
and
me just settle in, and I'll be right back.
and he runs right out to the parking lot, gets in his car, and drives away.
It's very similar. It's so good. It's so funny. There's a very similar moment in one of the Halloween episodes where he comes in and he has a bunch of blood on his shirt. And someone goes, "Oh, great, such and such costume, and then it just jump cuts to a talking head of him. He goes, "It's Halloween." It's Halloween. It's so good. He's the best character. Ugh.
Was he just like exasperated because it was Halloween?
No.
He's saying thank God because he killed somebody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's a very visual joke, and yeah.
So Nellie Nutmeg, Erin's character, is apparently a
Like
bit
an old timey prostitute.
Yeah.
maybe, or at least she likes to have a good time.
I believe she and Phyllis are business partners, as it were.
I see. Okay. So at any rate, in accent, Andy asks Erin out on a date in accent. And she says yes.
In accent.
Right.
Which is weird because they're brother and sister.
Right. But
Well, we are talking about
Savannah.
but they're also both ridiculous people. So who knows?
That's true. Incest, it's pretty ridiculous.
No, well, I mean, Andy and Erin are ridiculous. So
No, I would contend that incest is ridiculous.
well, that
Melissa.
also, yes, you're right. All things are ridiculous.
Is that Adam Sandler movie, Ridiculous Sex?
There is incest in one of his films, though.
Jack and Jill?
No, it's not his character that's participating. In
Oh,
that,
that's strange.
But like,
That's strange.
I forget which film it is.
Dwight goes through this whole bit where he talks about, okay, it can't be the people who are the most obvious people, and it can't be the people who are the least obvious people. So you know who it's got to be? It's got to be Phyllis, because I suspect her the middlemost.
The most medium amount.
Yeah.
And then there is a call from David Wallace, and
not the author.
Mm-hmm.
No relation. And Michael doesn't want to take it because he's still in character, because he doesn't break character this whole time. And Jim takes it, and it's not looking good. They're like, we're probably going to declare bankruptcy. And he's like, oh no. So they kind of drop the game for a little bit, but Michael doesn't.
Yeah.
Right?
But like he talks about like this supermarket pitch, which I wanted to hear more about.
I know. Yeah. It sounded interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got an account on a supermarket chain, so they would be getting a lot of money from the paper.
And David's like, I'm sorry, I really got to go. Because at this point, everyone's really down, and Jim is like, okay, I mean, we got to do something else about this. But then after this phone call with David, who's, clearly no help, Jim gets back on board with the game and helps.
Yeah, I do. Like, there was a bit of good acting from Steve Carell in a moment that we didn't discuss, where Jim is trying to get Michael to recognize the seriousness of the situation, and Michael kind of snaps at him, saying like, the employees need the game.
Yeah,
full
on yells.
Yeah, and it was like very clear that it's Michael who needs the game.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that it's helping everybody, though, keeping them a little distracted.
Yeah, it's keeping people engaged and their mind off of things. But like, it's clear that like Michael has like the need for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
I would like to say something about the acting of this series, if I may. I think, for the most part, it is some of the best acting that has happened on television within that decade, I suppose. Because you are having to not only act like a character, you're also in you're in a documentary. So the level of believability that is asked of these performers is tenfold. And most of the time, it's very well accomplished, I think. I'm not going to name names, but there are a couple people that I'm like, you could have found anyone better.
I think we know who Tristan's talking about.
I don't think you do.
Because I don't know this show that well.
I know. I'm teasing like we do sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, my
sorry.
bad.
Continue being earnest.
It's fine.
My bad. I just didn't.
But no, I think it's for the most part incredibly well accomplished because of that. It's a really tricky bit of business to pretend to be someone who is like a normal person in a documentary.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is why I think Parks and Rec very quickly abandoned that idea after the first season, because they were like, we want to go bigger with this.
Right, and it wasn't quite working for Parks and Rec.
At all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Steve has a lot of really great moments in the series and has been told that he does by several people.
I agree.
I think he's aware of the situation.
I agree. I think he does a really lovely job. And it's a really, really challenging character to play. Yes. So meanwhile, Andy witnesses Erin as Nellie accepting dates from two other people at the same time. Ooh. And he's like, wait, did I ask her out? Does she think it's a real date? Because I think it's a real date. So he does go to confirm that. And he then tells her that it's not a real date. And she says, well, I don't think so either. But both of them were hoping it was a real date.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll have to figure that out in another episode. They do eventually date. But yes, that's what's going on there. And
yeah, nothing is resolved vis-a-vis the financial crisis Dunder Mifflin is in right now. During this episode, but basically it comes down to a compromise is what it ends up like. Angela, Stanley, and Oscar are all working, and then their few are continuing to play the game, and you kind of have whatever option. Jim says this dumb thing about lifeboat and yada yada yada, parenting, and
Ad break?
Oh yeah, I suppose we should do an ad break. Hey everybody, thanks for listening to this episode of Amateur Detective Club. You can find us and many other great podcasts over at the Scavengers Network. Just go to scavengersnetwork.com. You can go to the show notes and click on the merch thing if you want to buy merch. And I've concluded my sentence.
Yes, and we can be found on social media at ADC Pod. That's the little at symbol, ADC Pod, the letters.
The letter pod. As you recall, A, B, C, D, E, F, pod.
Correct.
You know how a Z is Z?
Yeah.
Their P is pod and R.
Arnar.
Pod. Yeah. ADC Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Facebook as well.
Yeah. Also,
Facebook exists.
It does exist.
It
does exist.
Much like the M&M's at Christmas time, it does exist.
That's right. It melts in your mouth, not in your hand. Our podcast.
Don't think about Black Dynamite.
Yeah. Tyler, you want to just please...
What melts in your mouth, but not in your hand? You've heard of the House of Gucci. Oh. You've heard of the House of Darion. But here at ADC, we have the House of Patreon. Visit us at patreon.com/ADCpod.
For the record, Melissa just bonked her head on a fan. You thought I didn't see. I saw. I see everything. I see everything in my house. I see everything in my house, and I'm from Barcelona, which makes this accent okay.
Where the House of Patreon is located, apparently. There you can get access to bonus episodes and bonus content, as well as access to our Discord channel.
Which I gotta get better at being on. But I just put a bunch of bonus episodes from the last 2 Short Stuff Summers. There's like a good 30 extra minutes there, so.
Because we talk a lot, as it turns out.
Oh, turns out.
I mean, we're already like almost we're 2 hours.
We're 2 hours in.
To this 40-minute episode.
Back to the show.
I didn't even get to say the
Patreon.
URL again.
Okay, say it again then. I'll cut that out.
Patreon.com/ADCpod today.
Butt soup.
And Tristan is doing his hour of comedy, Manic Impressive.
That's true. I am.
Yeah.
Go to tristanjmiller.com/manic-impressive for show dates or any of my social medias.
I love that you're going back into your Willie Nelson on the road again.
I love to be on the road again, playing music with my friends.
And
on the road again.
Tyler and I can also now announce that we are both going to be in a musical in the Broadway Bound Theater Festival called The Whimsical World of Sherlock Holmes.
So Tristan will watch the musical and recap it and review it by himself for a special ADC episode.
That's true. That is true. It's going to be a minute long, and it's just going to be bad or good. I'm just going to say the word bad or good, and that's it.
Nope, it's going to be bad, good, or should have been a movie.
Just what Tyler... What Tyler is referring is every time I see a really good play, I'm like, you know what, this should have been a movie because I prefer movies to plays. This was so good. This play was so good it should have been something else. Which is like receiving a burger and going, you know what this should have been? A steak. I don't. The parts are there, but a little bit different.
I will be playing Sherlock Holmes's young page, Billy.
Ooh.
And I will be Dr. Watson.
Yeah, he will.
Are you going to grow out the mustache?
Fun.
I don't know yet, but I'm not touching it until tomorrow's a first rehearsal.
Congrats. Congrats. Back to the show. Okay, and then it's not called a warm close, which is the opposite of a cold open. It's the epilogue.
But just to touch on something before we get into the end and
The warm close.
You don't want to touch on the
because it's not like really a board game. It's a game that's played over like cassette tapes.
Yes.
And at one point, like somebody accidentally hits it again, and we get like the actual murderer from the game is revealed. But they decide to continue on to what was intended to be, I guess, more fun hijinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so there are Michael and Dwight and someone else. Andy are
and
all
also
in a room.
Pam.
Yeah.
And also Pam now. Yeah. Are all in a room. And they're all double agents, and they're holding guns to each other, finger guns to each other.
Again, Tyler,
Yes.
have you ever come across the image of this scene on the internet?
No, I have not.
That's so strange. That's interesting to me.
But I have seen this scene before, like as I was getting ready to watch the thing that succeeded the episode in the television lineup.
Okay. Word. Because again, like that's the shot of all of them pointing guns at is like a meme. That's very interesting that you just somehow.
Like I'm sure there are memes that I can name that you have.
100%.
Yeah.
But like
it's
the
just
fact
one
that,
of those, like just because of like our different tastes in things.
Yeah.
And really, that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, that's truly the end of the app.
That's where it ends.
Yeah, because Pam then like leaves.
Yeah. Well, she gets Jim to start the car.
Yeah, and like
And she backs out very slowly. And then runs, and then the remaining three, I don't remember their names. Shoot each other,
like a bunch of
and there is
dumb
no
little boys.
winner, I guess. And who knows who killed Bill Bourbon?
It's also Jim notes that it's 6:00, so they've been doing this. Every episode starts at 9 a.m. more or less. So
That's true.
they've been doing this.
Yeah, imagine they do like the full
9 to
office
5.
day, yeah?
Yep.
Ew.
Yeah, it starts every morning.
Huh.
Yeah, so they've been doing it all day, the whole dang day. So, what do you think of the episode, Tyler? You go first.
0. Just based on my rubric, like it was like a serviceable, fine episode of television. Like I had a couple of chuckles, as I previously mentioned. But there wasn't like a true like mystery. Like the mystery was a plot device. It wasn't the plot.
Yes.
And for those reasons, I'm out.
As an episode of The Office, it's like a 4.5. As an episode of television overall, it's like a 3 for me.
Okay.
I appreciate The Office in a way, but it is not my thing. Capital M, capital T.
My idiot ass is like, there's no M in thing, Melissa. And then they say I have dyslexia, but Melissa over here can't spell thing without an
Adding
M.
letters to words.
The M is silent.
The M is silent.
Mating.
Yeah. I have watched a lot of The Office. I haven't watched the whole thing, but I've watched most of it. And I appreciate it, but I don't I don't love it. So I guess that's it.
Yeah. I would agree as far as episodes of The Office goes, like a 4.5. It's like again, with people, it is an episode that is referenced often for good reason. It's very solid. All the acting is pretty solid and all this. Again, there's no mystery to it though. It's just there's being a murder. And my favorite part about that is when Knives Out came out, everyone made the comparison between Daniel Craig's performance and Michael Scott's performance.
Oh.
That
Like
makes sense now.
so often there was just there's been a murder. I suspect foul play. I say. See here. But yeah.
And foul play because Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah.
Okay.
We love a pun.
So yeah, I don't know. I just, I enjoyed it quite a lot, but again, going by a mystery standpoint, it's zero because it's not. It's not because it's bad. It's just absent. So I agree with Tyler on that point of like, I jokingly said before, the mystery is why is Michael this way? And we don't solve it in this episode.
Do we ever solve it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There's an episode where we see home footage of him as the ring bearer to his mother's second wedding, and he screams. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on with little Mike.
I feel like I didn't see that.
Yeah, as the show progresses, you get more and more sympathy for Michael. But anyway, yeah, it was fun. Good episode.
You've seen all of The Office, or just
Yes.
most of? Oh, you've seen all.
Yes.
What, as someone who is, I don't want to say anti The Office, but like very put off of The Office because of what how I've been introduced to the show.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an episode that you would recommend to someone like me who has been like put off? Like, is there like a good entry point episode?
Okay. Depends. What is it that off puts you? Like, is it the cringe comedy of it, or is it the?
No, I don't mind cringe comedy because that's all Friday Night Dinner is. I'm not sure if you're familiar with.
Not
that.
at all.
Okay. Highly recommend it for you.
Okay.
I would recommend it.
I generally don't go out for cringe comedy, but I will.
Like, it's not like all cringe, but like there are moments like filtered throughout. Like, it's just like I need comeuppance
for Michael.
For all horrible characters, I just need comeuppance in some way.
There's never comeuppance for Michael.
Okay,
there
then
is.
This show probably just isn't for
what
me.
there is instead is personal growth and forgiveness from people that he is upset.
That he's earned?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's earned, and it also, like, again, as the show goes on, you slowly realize that he's just a maladapted person. They really add a lot of depth in the later seasons. There's an episode with Pam's art show that's very touching, but the arc of Michael Scott Paper Company, I would say, where he goes and he forms his own paper company, is very, very solid. Also, as far as how good the show can be, the dinner party episode, they all go over to Michael's house for dinner, and his girlfriend is horribly abusive. And it's like, you also get a window into, Michael has been taken advantage of his whole life, and that's why he's this way. Like, it's not, he's not a terrible person because he doesn't know any better. He's just desperate for love that he has never felt in his life.
Okay.
Yeah, and also that episode is hilarious. It's the dinner party one.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's again, like, I'm open. Like, I don't think there's a bad performer amongst this bunch. I just don't like the overall picture that I've been presented.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Again, based on and again for most of this is for the audience, I was introduced to this with Scott's Tots.
Yeah.
And that was a major put off.
That was an episode that when I was watching it with my ex-girlfriend, we skipped and then watched later on because it also occurs kind of early in the series, and so you're not.
No, it's this season.
It is?
Okay. Yeah, season 6, episode 12. It's 2 episodes after this.
Okay, that's weird. Yeah. Okay, well then I miss, but it is one that a lot of people skip because it is so unbearable and just so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I really don't like that episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is widely considered to be terrible.
Gotcha.
Because of the premise. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be open to more of this. I watched all the British Office.
I've seen a few episodes. I've enjoyed it as well. Anyway, we got to end the episode. Thank you
yeah.
all very much for listening.
Gavel sound.
Gavel sound.
I now close. Close gavel sound. Okay, bye.
Oh, I'm so sorry. There's one other joke that is so good in this episode.
Yes.
Michael is clearly vomiting in the bathroom because he's so anxious, and what is his name? The large man?
Kevin.
Kevin goes, "Michael, are you okay?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm just pooping. You know how I be." And I lose my mind, and that's also something I say in my daily life. I now call this meeting of the Amateur Action Club to close.
Gavel sound, bye-bye.